All right, let's lunch and learn. Today is all about my favorite topic. I need listings ASAP. And this framework has literally helped me so many times to get people to opt into my funnels, to people say, hey, Janine, I need to talk to you about selling my house. So I figured I'm going to share that with you because it's really a super helpful framework. And of course, we got slides, so grab your lunch, grab a notepad. We got lots to cover. Today, we're going to talk about winning listings, right? And I want to make sure that the now seller leads are actually coming into your pipeline. There is a free gift for you as usual. We have all the Cliff Notes. So if you like the Cliff Notes, you can grab them at ASAP is our keyword, and then just the texting number. So just text it back to our phone number, which is 844-950-3580. And we're going to give you the entire cheat sheet, essentially. So don't worry, I'm going to show it to you again so you see it. But that is what we're going to discuss today, because getting the phone to ring these days, right, that's important. So if you are still in the middle of texting the keyword ASAP, by the way, you can also text the word review to our number, and we're going to give you our Google review link. We do encourage you to kind of think about it, doing it now, because when you are having to hop off, right, sometimes you forget. So we want everybody to leave us an honest review of today's class, and we will send out, I have one here, our business builder box as a thank you for taking the time and letting us know how we're doing. So make sure that you are texting the word review, and they'll get that. Of course, there's a disclaimer. This is for educational and informational purposes. So make sure that you are compliant with where you're at. I am a licensed instructor in the state of Illinois. I'm a licensed agent in the state of Illinois. So I talk a lot about what I can do here in my area. But if you have anything where you're like, oh, I don't think I can do that there, you have a broker, maybe you are the broker, you have the board, make sure you remain compliant. Now, my name is Janine Sasso. I host these free lunch and learns for real estate agents nationally, actually internationally, but nationally for the most part. I am the owner of the Hyperlocal Agent, which is a geographic farming training school. And I'm a, again, licensed instructor, full-time agent, creator of GeoCentral, which is what powers my real estate business and makes all of this run, by the way. And I'm focused on geographic farming and past client retention. And between those two pillars alone, believe me, you can build a very, very good business. So today we're going to talk about the active inventory, which is literally opportunities in plain sight. We're going to talk about the sold stories that spark conversations. And we're going to talk about the AI impending, which is your window to strike fast. If you like a workbook, we do have a no opt-in required workbook at the hyperlocalagent.com/workbook. And it's, again, no opt-in, meaning you don't have to enter anything. There's no email that needs to be done. I'm trying to see if I can type and show you what that looks like, because sometimes it's nice to see it work. Terrible typing skill today. All right. There you go. So this is the URL. You just simply download it, and it'll open up as a PDF that you can then simply print. We suggest two-sided printing. Put all your class notes there, and we got obviously more resources for you as well. All right. So that is this. Actually, I'm not sharing this one. There you go. Now you can see it. You can put your notes there, and there's additional resources for you as well. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let me go back. Trying to see if I can share my tab again. Share this tab. All right. Made it back? Okay, we made it back. Gotta close all my windows. So how many of you are saying, I could use some listings ASAP, right? I don't know about you, but I feel like I am always saying that, because listings are the name of the game, right? And we can always use more listings. So even if you have some, wouldn't more be better? And if you don't have any, wouldn't listings be nice? So I know I've said this before. And I'm pretty sure you have actually too. So we're going to get some real action steps that you can take in your business. Okay, this is still about taking action. I'm going to give you the what, the how. You still have to take action this week, today. So this way you have results tomorrow. Sound fair? So I'm going to also show you the number one postcard that combines the entire framework in one mailing at the end. Yes, there's my dangling carrot. You guys know how this goes. I know attention is a currency, and I appreciate you guys hanging out here. So according to NAR, the first thought of selling occurs roughly 2 years before the actual event itself. 2 years, okay? That's a long time, right? Now, there is, however, a natural progression in thought. So in thought, what is the natural progression? The natural progression goes something along the lines where I think we need to get ready, right, to make a move. And then you start looking around and you're like, man, I can't show the house like this the way it looks. So you start thinking about what needs to happen. What needs to happen with your house, right? So it goes from how much do I have to do, right? The cleanup, the fixing, the this, the that, to eventually the thought process to I've done a whole lot of work. How much can I actually get, right? And that is the part we're going to talk about. So what do I have to do is what? The fixing, the plumbing, the electricians, the mechanical stuff, right? The digging outside, the painting outside, the painting inside. All of these things are the what do I have to do? Oh, probably should be dealing with my mouse infestation, right? Just kidding. Actually, my dog brought in a mouse the other day. That one. I was like, thought it was a cat's job. That's why I don't have cats. I'm like, I don't want a mouse in my house. But it changes from how much do I have to do versus how much can I get? That is the bridge. That is the bridge where things start to shift. Okay, because you see you've put in even more effort on top of the daily maintenance, and now you're thinking, okay, now I've done all this work. Surely it's gonna pay off, right? So we're going to talk about the ASAP framework, which is really how I see a really easy way to get sellers. And yes, that framework will last for the rest of your real estate career. So how do you get listings ASAP? First up, if you just tuned in and you missed our cheat sheet, go ahead and get yourself the cheat sheet with the texting word ASAP. Okay, just text the word ASAP to 844-950-3580. And I hope there's not going to be a crazy time correct happening, but not time correct, word correct. So I actually never typed the word ASAP to see if it was going to get modified. Let's see, ASAP. Okay, it doesn't modify it, which is good. Sometimes you type something and it puts it into a crazy word. I digress. Coming back here. So we covered, by the way, several ways to get seller leads to opt in on so many of my other classes. This class schedule here, by the way, I send it out to thousands of agents each and every quarter, almost every quarter. I think we send them 3 or 4 times a year. So all of my classes are on there. Everything that we teach is on there. So if you're like, I need a real estate class that is not just fluffiness, I need to actually learn, this is it. So make sure you get yourself the class schedule. You can do that at thehyperlocalagent.com/schedule. Okay, and we'll send it. Let me see if I have one here. We sent them free of charge. They come out, and then you're good to go here. Okay, let me see. I got a couple that came back here. And by the way, if you update your address, just send us an email. We'll update it. Like you see here, all the ones that were done. So many of them. So by all means, hop onto a class, enjoy, and that's it. So hyperlocalagent.com/schedule. So you can see exactly when we're having what class. So if there's one in there where you're like, oh, I can't miss this one, put it on your schedule, and then just show up to our website where we host all of our lunch and learns. Okay, moving on from here. So I just recently had a conversation with an agent, and he said he wants people that are ready now. Oh, those are my favorite conversations. How many of you want now people? right? Now, he wasn't looking for traditional sellers, right? He wanted, really what he wanted was desperate people. How many of you think that you can make good decision out of desperation? When you are in a I need it now position, do you think you make the best possible decision there is? In most cases, no, right? When I think about desperate people, I think about divorce, I think about death, I think about I need to, something dramatic happened, changed, right, that I have to deal with. On top of that, I'm now having to consider moving. That's a lot, right? So people that are going through stuff, severe money issues, facing foreclosure, right? Having high medical bills, lost their job, people who have been pushed against the wall, essentially. So before I dive in, this is not what this class is about, okay? Because this class is not to position myself in front of people that already got slapped in the face by life. Sure, we all want listings now, but I think there's another way. I think there is a more humane way. I think there is more of a hyper-local agent way. And that's the way that I want to show you today. And again, there's nothing wrong necessarily with these kind of things, but I think a lot of us actually have this, I want to help people and not exploit their misfortunes. So fine line. Yes, I'm in business, but I'm still in business to help people. And I just don't believe in taking advantage of somebody else's misfortune. Can I help them? Absolutely. Okay. But do I single them out, right? With my severe messaging being like, before it's too late or any of that? No, I don't. So we want to make sure we're going to help them in a way only a hyper-local agent could. Does that make sense? Okay. So before we dive in, entire framework overview, first and foremost, so everybody knows what we're talking about. ASAP. I need listings ASAP. A, active inventory. We're going to talk about it. Sold inventory. I'll talk about that one. AI, which in our area here is for under contract. We have what we call an attorney review and inspection period. You may call it an option period. You may call it a contingency something, right? This is where we just went under contract, but there's still a lot of little things to go and do. And then we have our pending. Pending meaning that you have cleared all the condition and now we're just waiting for closing, okay? So that's the difference between our what we call under contract and then pending. So that is the framework itself. We're going to dive in. First up, 7 do's of this strategy, okay? Do obtain written permission before using photos or marketing material. Okay, that is referencing Article 12. And I do think you have to understand that if you are just out there promoting somebody else's listing, you're essentially saying, hey, I'm in charge here to promote your listing, but the seller never hired you. I had a story I can give you of an agent. He does a tremendous amount of direct mail, just as much as I do. And he gave me a call and he said, I had somebody get really mad because I put active inventory, even though I'm in a disclosure state, right? Because it was considered marketing. You are marketing somebody else's listing. I said, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. And frankly, if I think about it, why would I be as nice and give them free advertisement on my mail pieces? So after the phone call I got from him, I said, you know what? It's actually a really good idea to not be promoting anybody else's listing. So this one here, we'll talk about this, but I only promote now my own active inventory because this highlights my sellers and it gives them a spotlight on my mail pieces. So stop highlighting everybody else's, okay? And really just focus in on yours if you have any. And if you don't have any and you desperately want to borrow an active listing, get permission. Obviously, I love active inventory also for open houses, different class, different strategy, but just wanted to point that out right here. Now, number 2, do clearly identify the listing agent and broker. I've actually just stumbled upon a video of my own listing the other day, and I had an agent was just touring through, setting up cameras, shooting everything. I didn't realize it was out there. And believe me, I didn't really feel super good about it. Had he just asked, it was one thing, but simply taking somebody else's efforts and leveraging it to continue to generate business, that's not okay. It just isn't. So had he referenced me in it, I probably would have had less of an issue with it. But there was no mention on whose listing it is, no mention on anything. And that, again, is just not cool when you are a listing agent. And remember, this is your reputation in the industry. Now, 3, do provide accurate information about the property. So no exaggerating, mispresenting, or concealing pertinent facts related to the property. I think that goes without mention. Now, do mention the status of the property, under contract or pending, accurately. Okay, so when you look at, is it actually pending? Is it actually under contract? What's the status? And you can talk about it in your state, right? Don't advertise it as available if it is already under contract. And then 5, do get permission before hosting or sharing virtual tours or open houses for another agent's listing. So many times do I see people like, oh, showing a house today, go see, check it out, right here you go. Not okay. Not okay without permission. Get permission first. I understand you want content, but simply stand in the middle of the road. Actually, don't stand in the middle of the road, but you get the point. And just be like, hey, showing in this neighborhood today, and my clients are going to check out one of the houses on the property or that's in the neighborhood. If you know somebody that lives in or around here, this is the area my clients want. You don't have to show somebody else's house. Okay? I don't come to your house and be like, hey, let me see your house and put it all over the internet. Okay? Don't do that. The seller gave one person that permission, which is the listing agent. Do respect the seller's privacy and confidentiality. That's a pretty easy one, right? And then do keep away from marketing an active listing by address at any time if you're not the listing agent. I really don't think it's necessary, right? Agents do work hard for the listings, and having another agent mention your listing can very easily be perceived as a threat by other agents. And yes, it can lead to disciplinary actions. So that is your not so fun part of class. So be ethical, be compliant, and you'll be okay. And I have to tell you all of this because we're going to talk a whole lot about leveraging listings, even if you don't have any. So I hope you understand why this part was important. Not fun, but important. So let's talk about active inventory. Active inventory, first and foremost, is touring and reporting, right? Touring and reporting. So we have a little tic-tac-toe game, if you will, that you can play. Feel free to play along. And sometimes it's just something as easy as setting up my camera behind me, okay? Or I could screen record on that and be like, I'm currently trying to find all the 3-bedroom listings that are available in my neighborhood. And it's like, oh, currently it looks like we have 2. And then you just start documenting. Finding listings under 400, finding listings over 400, find the most expensive listing, find the least expensive, right? Find the oldest, find the newest, find listings with 30 plus days of market time. How many of you know how many listings are currently at over 30 days of market time? That probably, depending on your market, might be an interesting fun fact. How many of you think this might be an interesting fun fact? When you look at what is currently available over 30 days, this gives some buyers in a very constrained market, I'm in a constrained market generally, a good opportunity, right? To be like, oh, maybe we can negotiate it. So if your MLS allows you to filter for days on market, let's see. I think I have number of days. I'm going to try and see if we can run a test run here. Number of days. I think that's the wrong one. Maybe to label it market time. Listing market time. There you go. And then there's general market time. We have a private listing network, so it's a little different. And I'm going to take out all the ones that are contingent. And we're going to add my zip code because otherwise we'd be scrolling a lot. I mean, you can leave it open. I really think that wouldn't be an issue. Right now I'm at 27. I'm looking at my MLS right now. I know you can't see it, but just bear with me. All right. In my market, there are currently 4. 2 for sale, 2 for rent. So very interesting for some people that are currently actively looking. find the oldest listing, newest listing, most expensive, least expensive, under 400, over 400, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 8-bedroom, 20 bedrooms, right? Listings with 30 plus day market time, 60 plus, 90 plus, 120 plus, you name it. You get the point, right? Active inventory, reporting on what you're currently seeing. Is it a lot? Is it not a lot? Okay, that is an easy thing to do. Next up, T. Okay, T. T stands for tour. So you can arrange an agent preview of active listings in your area. And believe me, I'm a huge fan of preview tours because it doesn't matter what the market is like. You need to know what you're working with, right? What is the inventory like? Because even if you end up going down the lead to a listing appointment, you better know what to talk about the other house. If you have buyers, right, you should be able to tell these buyers, you know what, I actually saw a house that might be perfect for you, not based on what you described, but based on what I see it could be. And it's going to be about $150,000 less for what we can spend. So you have definitely some room there, right? Think about HGTV style. And it also will help you as the agent get familiar with your properties and surroundings. So this is where you also can then help build rapport with a listing agent, especially if the listing has been sitting for a while. Be like, hey, I just did a preview. I just want you to know when I walked in there, the property actually had a really, really strong smell. I don't know if anybody has pointed that out, but it seems like such a nice house. I just thought I would pass it along. Don't mean any offense, but I just thought maybe it would be helpful. Otherwise, I think it's a fantastic property, as an example. Okay. Now, the next one, creative tip, it's a property binder. How many of you are keeping notes on properties, right? Even like small ones. Note what the issue is. You know, it looks really nice on pictures, but the tile backsplash and the tile on the kitchen floor is actually a sticky tile. It's not a real tile. It's a fake one. It looks great in pictures, but it's not real. Or there were scratches all over the trim work because the dog apparently, or the cat apparently, is not really in love with woodwork. So they just use it as a scratching post. And it's not visible in pictures, or it was touched up in pictures. Again, those notes are really, really powerful. When you have open houses and you can be like, oh my gosh, yeah, there was this house down the street and it was so amazing, and blah, 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 right? And be like, you know what, I've actually been in that house. The tile was super uneven. There was a smell here. There was mold down there. You can't say mold, but there was spots in the basement that looked like a mold-like substance, if you want to say. Again, and it's not about bad-mouthing properties. It's about you having internal notes. When somebody is asking, I use that a lot for appraisals, when I do appraisals for my clients, because the appraiser oftentimes doesn't know, right? They can't smell a property. They do not know, well, why does this one sold for so low? Well, I don't know, but guy in there smoked for 30 plus years and it was never mitigated, so it's a smoker house. People just don't know. So when you look at what something is actually like and you have notes to refer back to, that can be really helpful. So that is what a active inventory binder would look like. Just make take the MLS sheet, hole punch it, have a little booklet ready to go. It's super easy to do, and give it an overall rating of what you think, some likes, some dislikes. How many of you have a binder like this? Not many people, I don't think. So it's keep inventory tabs, and it's something great to have along for open houses too, and be like, you know what, actually I've been through all these listings here, and yeah, I can tell you this, and they're gonna be like, oh wow, like you have a lot of detail on it. And it's like, yeah, it's my area. That's what I do. Okay. All right. How many of you are gonna start having an active inventory folder? Because if the answer is no action, then it's like we can't do results with no action, right? We got to do something. Touring properties is literally the easiest thing. All right. R for report, right? Create a hyper-local market item that educates nearby buyers or nearby neighbors about new listing inventory. Just report back on it, right? Report back. Hey, by the way, did you know your neighbor listed their house? And we definitely don't want you to miss the boat with all that activity. So if you've thought about, now might be a good sign to get your house ready for the market. You don't have to go on the market, but maybe indicate to potential buyers driving through that, hey, I'm coming on the market in about 2 or 3 months. you and I maybe want to talk today, right? So how do you report on that one? Creative ways, obviously letters, door hangers, note cards. After the tour, inform the nearest neighbors of a listing down the street from that you previewed and with an influx of activity expected. Might be a great opportunity to capture potential buyers. It is just reporting what you've done. Hey, I toured a house down the street from you and XYZ. Just a reminder, general statements or retelling your actions, okay? Preview of a property. Do not go through, oh, the tile was shitty, this was bad, this didn't look good, right? Don't do any pictures, not without permission. So just keep that in mind. So active inventory has a lot of constraints, but I think it's really helpful to see some examples. I'm not the listing agent for this property, but I can help you with other homes as a licensed agent in your area. In this neighborhood, we've seen multiple properties listed in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. There are currently 4 active listings. That's reporting, right? Here are 3 similar homes currently listed in the neighborhood, or I'm seeing a lot of activity in your neighborhood right now. None of these statements are false, and none of these statements are infringing on the listing agent who really worked hard to get the listing. So active inventory letters, that's just a couple examples. I'm a huge fan of examples, so hopefully that is helpful for you to see what you could do. There's like a bunch of like other letters we've done. I've got an entire class on golden letters, which is like, let's see if I can cover this one up. There's a name on that one. Let me see. Let's see if I can Sharpie marker it out so I can show it to you. I just don't like, yeah. Okay, so there's like one example right here, okay? So golden letter, it has a property image on it, an estimate from the tax records, which is always super low. Definitely always gets a looker on that one. And let's see what else we got. Let me take this one out too. So here's another one, very similar style. Just want to make sure we don't have people calling and be like, this is my name. All right, so active inventory letters, just a couple examples of what you could do and use. Now, if you just hopped on and you missed our Cliff Notes, by all means, feel free to grab them. The texting keyword is ASAP to 844-950-3580. I want to show it to you one more time. So if you didn't grab it now and you want to grab it later, I'll show you one more opportunity for it, okay? So that got us done with active. Now let's talk about the sold ones. Sold. Report and offer. That's really what we do here. So report and offer. What's the report part, right? After the property closes, inform the nearby neighbors of recent activity in their neighborhood and that every sale impacts their home value. True or not true? True, right? Offer the neighbor an updated home value estimate based on the latest sales. Would it be helpful, right? So this works because the most valuable assets for people is what? Their house, right? So when somebody is moving, it makes them interested in that number once again. Now, if the prospect has no intention of moving, they will simply don't look at it. They don't care. Okay, they're like, my house could be worse. And I told that to my husband actually, because he's like, oh, we're like in $1 million house. And I'm like, the house could be worth $100,000, $1. I wouldn't care because I'm not moving, right? So it's not an asset where I'm like, oh, I have to make this an asset. I understand leveraging an asset. It's just not something that I have planned for my own personal house. Creative tips, obviously door hangers are the easy way for you to just do it and do it manually, report, right? And offer them a home value. And of course, focus on the general trends, right? Not the specifics of the sale, not the specifics that are making the impression that you were the listing agent if you weren't, okay? So examples, this home just closed for X number of dollars in the neighborhood. If you're curious about what the market is performing here, let's start by looking at your home value. So many typos in that one. There's been 5 properties that have sold in blank in the last 90 days. Here's a quick update on how homes in the area are selling. The average days on market, or just 10 days. Any properties are selling from about 98% of list price. Another one, a home down the street from you recently sold, and it's a great example of how homes are performing in the market. All of these are just statements, okay? General statements. So here's a couple sold inventory letters. A lot of fun little ways to make this stand out. I'm actually a big fan of this letter right here because it's purely number based. Hey, here's what happened. Enjoy. There's no guesswork around it, which is why it's so nice. All right, that moves us into the under contract properties. Under contract. So first up, let's report and make an offer. So the reporting part, after a property goes under contract, inform the nearest neighbor of the lowered inventory and that there's a chance of buyers who missed out. How many properties had more than one person showing up for a showing? Most every property, right? So is the assumption that you have more buyers looking probably pretty accurate for a house in that neighborhood? And you can obviously offer the neighbor the free home value estimate. All right, next up, why would that work? Because final sale prices aren't final until closed. You know that, right? So if there's a chance for a lower selling price, the best window of opportunities for a higher sell price than the neighbor would be while the property is under contract. What do I mean by that? Property lists at $400,000. The buyer got a great deal and secured a contract at $350,000. Let's just assume. That's a $50,000 difference, right? If I'm the neighbor of the $400,000 house and I want to put up my house for $399, my chances to get $399 while my neighbor is listed at $400 are going to be a lot better, right? The minute my neighbor closes for $350, what's every buyer going to think about my house? They're probably going to say like, oh, you know what? They closed at $350. Why would that one be worth $399? I think this one is overpriced. And I went from a good positioning standpoint to a not so great positioning standpoint. So you can use this short little time frame to your advantage. Creative tips are letters, note cards, right? Just leave a quick note to the nearest homes. It's a window of opportunity. Take it. You can focus on general trends, not specific details of the pending sale. Chances are you don't know it. And even if you are the listing agent, that is not something that you should be tooting around, right? Nobody needs to know the inner workings of the transaction other than if it was okayed to be disclosed by the parties. Examples. I've seen multiple homes in the neighborhood go under contract in just a few days, indicating a very competitive market right now. Or properties in our area are moving fast. Or homes in neighborhood are selling quickly. Something else you could say is this neighborhood is very competitive right now with many properties under contract in less than a week. Again, we're just reporting on what we're seeing, right? We've seen homes like yours under contract at a similar price point, which suggests XYZ, okay? So just a couple ways of wording it. Active inventory, those are letter examples. These letter examples are super easy. Print them out, okay? Print them out on your home printer and get into action. This is like an afternoon in Canva. You don't want to spend an afternoon in Canva. Find your office letterhead, print out a letter, and get it out the door, okay? This is the action that is required to make this strategy work. So we talked about the A, we talked about the S, we talked about the other A. Let's talk about the P. Pending inventory. Pending inventory, right? They have cleared all the condition. It's technically now pending. So home inspection contingency removed, mortgage contingency removed, home to sell or home to close contingency removed, attorney review period concluded, if that's what you have. Most properties will never get marked pending, just out of laziness in general. But the proper way would be to mark it pending, indicating that there's no contingency left. We're only waiting for the day of closing. So again, correct status toys seldomly used correctly by agents. Here we see the AI all the way until closing. But I want to show you the postcard that I use. There's 2 of them. So again, just some marketing ideas that you could leverage. Okay, is that helpful to see? I already showed you one of them. This here is like the mini version of the one that I send every quarter. And I do think you should send it out every quarter. Okay, so make a note every quarter. get it done. And if you don't know how to get it done, I want to talk to you about that next. But again, if you just hopped on and you missed half the class, or you have not taken advantage of our notes, by all means, grab them. You just text the word ASAP to 844-950-3580, which is our automated texting line for the hyperlocal agent. Okay, so you can get it there. And for me, these appointments come from many times this exact piece of mail. So how do I go about it? This is how I used to do it. I used to do a whole lot of direct mail physically. Let me tell you, it's a lot of work. 2,000 mailers on this picture and 8 hours a day for 3 days straight using 3 people as labor. That's a lot, right? 3 people, 8 hours a day. That is 24 hours. 24 hours times 3. Now I'm at 72 hours, roughly. How much is your time worth? That's a lot, right? So if I have 72 hours of labor times, how much do we pay somebody an hour? Let's say 20. Okay, probably a little more, but let's go with 20. We're at $1,400 in labor, not counting material. That's the reality if you are having somebody help you with direct mail or your time. And your time is probably worth more than 20 bucks. So to my point is why I now automate it. I've been to the whole labor intensive part of farming, sitting down at night, watching Netflix, getting it done. That alone is a big pain point of why I started looking for something else. I ordered inventory. I was drowning in envelopes and stuffing envelopes and sealing envelopes and stamping envelopes and doing the paperwork, right? It helped me to do it at night. But at a certain point, I just needed to be present with my kids, hold them, right, in my arms while they still let me, and I wanted to change it. So for me, that change came when I decided, in addition to doing all these things manually and running my business, because what do you guys do in business? You follow up with leads. You keep your past clients engaged. You write them happy birthdays, happy home anniversaries, right? You post on social media. You do a lot as an agent. So for me, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure I found a better way. So I started with GeoCentral, and that is now where I have time freedom back, and it's automating my mail. And yes, it does have unlimited free printed postcards included on it. That's actually, if you order yourself the class schedule, that is one of the examples. So I don't stuff envelopes anymore. I don't go to the post office, and everything starts to get handled. Believe me, the manual labor of doing it, it is well worth it. I get signs put up in the neighborhood because of direct mail. And that is probably still one of my absolute favorite things if there's a new sign that goes up. And the reason I do it is here, right? My children are the reason that I want more time back. They grow up so fast. It's crazy. I know somebody told me that when I had my first one, just enjoy it. They get big so fast. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like in the sleep deprived phase, right? Don't believe them. And here I am, typical story of like, oh, I guess they were right. So, but not only that, is it also allowed me to add a component to my mail that I didn't have the ability to do previously. So before, I was just printing it out on my office printer. I would stuff it, right, seal it, stamp it, out it goes. And what it was really a piece of paper. Nothing amazing about it. I have now since gained the ability to make this little QR code dynamic. So meaning this little QR code has a smart little way of sensing who's the recipient. And when they get my letters or my postcards and they scan it, I now get an alert. Hey, so-and-so at 123 Main Street just scanned your postcard that you sent. It allows me to know now when things are getting delivered. That's huge. It also allows me to then plan my follow-up strategically. That's kind of what we teach inside GeoCentral. So, but a lot of people don't need to worry about the follow-up. They don't even know how to get something out in the mail that will allow them to do that. And that's why we created GeoCentral Lite. So GeoCentral Lite is like the precursor of doing postcards. It's my way to hopefully help more agents get started with postcards. You still have to show up. You still have to put the letter template in. Okay. You still have to hit send. And the letters itself, I like the letters. I do prefer the postcards, which is what GeoCentral Lite has. So Lite has only the postcards. I should say that. Lite is only postcards. Letters are on the Pro version of it. But if you send a postcard, And you can embed that and do all of this, right? That's what I showed you the, where did I put it? There. This postcard right here. Again, it might take me about an hour to put it all together because it's a lot of data. I have an entire course actually, how you can have AI do it. But it's one of those things that I will spend a little bit of time, because an hour and I can reach however many people I want is mind-blowing. Let's say your neighborhood, your farm is 300 houses. How long would it take you to actually go out there and deliver this to 300 houses, door by door by door by door, right? It'll probably, generally the average rate is about 100 houses an hour. That would be a 3-hour, and that's a residential area. So again, time-wise, I think it's a no-brainer. So GeoCentral Lite is $47 a month. So for those of you that have Lite already and you're on here, go use it. I have an entire course that is step-by-step on how to use it. If you don't have Lite, it is on our website. You can give it a try. We'll send you the Getting Started with GeoCentral Lite course. You follow the steps, you get your first postcard out to yourself at a minimum before you blast it out to the entire neighborhood. And the reason I say do a test mailer, it's the same reason that you should write a practice contract. If your very first contract that you write is for an actual person buying an actual piece of real estate, that's no good. I don't think anybody that I've talked to so far did that, but that's why we also recommend test mailers. Okay, just send yourself a test, go through the motions, and then once that is in, then start leveraging it out to everybody else. So for those of you that have it, awesome, you're a step ahead. Now go put it to use. For those of you that don't have it, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to send, I'm not good with this, I even gave you 6 of my proven templates to use, including my viral open house pass. So when your buyers are out and about, they can just show their open house pass, right? Either the physical or they take a picture. We instruct them to take a picture of it and then just show it to the open house agent. And what it does is it triggers an SMS to you saying, hey, so-and-so is actually out hunting, house hunting with open houses. And now you can go ahead and you can actually follow up with them, be like, hey, how did the open houses go this weekend? Because you're in the know what your buyers are doing. That's huge. Okay. I think that's huge. All right. So that's the bonus templates. The smart QR code technology is included on it. So yes. And all of our postcards are going first class mail, meaning that they also get picked up by a service called Informed Delivery. Informed Delivery is when the post office sends out an email and shows you what's about to hit your mailbox. I don't know how many of you are subscribed to it. I know I am. It's free to subscribe. It has an over 60% open rate, by the way. And there's millions and millions of Americans subscribed to it. So I can see what's coming in my mailbox in the morning via email. So now my postcard, okay, my physical postcard is going to gain a touch on their phone before it even arrives many times. So they're going to see it on their phone. They're going to see me in the mailbox, and they're going to put me in the kitchen on the counter. Guess who's going to get the top of mind awareness faster? It is not the TikTok dancing agent. I can promise you that much. Why do I have more top of mind awareness? Because I have already shown up 3 times while the other agent was still hoping that the algorithm is going to show them their video. So that is what GeoCentral Lite is designed to do. That's the postcard only plan at $47 a month. I think it's the best addition I've ever made to my business. I have the pro version because I want to do letters too, and gifting and other things. But again, for some of you guys getting started, this is a perfect way to get started with mail without needing to spend, what do we say, $1,400 on labor to get a campaign out the door. And that didn't even account for postage. So direct mail affordability has never looked so good, honestly. I hope this was helpful for today's Lunch and Learn. We covered so much. The ASAP framework, everything with examples. I gave you design examples. I gave you writing examples. I gave you every single framework with it. And again, was it a lot? Yes. What's still missing is you taking the action. So if you do have any questions on it, let me know. But thanks so much for showing up for Lunch and Learn today. And we will see you for the next one. Bye, everybody.